Hey everyone, welcome back to the District 3 podcast, episode 269. My name is Edavine.
And this is Elena.
And I'm Miggs.
And I'm glad we're all in the studio today for this episode that we're recording today. When this episode comes out, it'd probably be maybe like mid-October, maybe, I think, or close to mid-October. So that means that the deadline for registering to vote would have already passed because that's the 7th. But we're just hoping that everybody that listens to these episodes is listening to this episode specifically goes out to vote, because early voting begins in late October, and then election day is on November 7th, I think. I believe.
Like the 6th usually, whatever.
You know, I know that.
I guess days are different in different years.
No, because it changes.
Tuesday.
It changes every time. Like sometimes it's the 7th, sometimes it's the 8th, and then sometimes it's like the 6th as well. So,
is it like
Tuesday?
Is it like the first Tuesday or something?
I think so.
Is it like Father's Day?
I don't know why. What do you mean?
Because doesn't Father's Day usually fall like on the last Sunday or the second Sunday or something like that?
Yeah, that's probably what it is. But
Thanksgiving is like the last Thursday of November. Anyway.
November 5th.
Oh, it's November 5th?
It is November 5th.
Wait, how many months does October has 31 days?
Yeah.
So it's like one of those, like when
Weird.
October has 31 days, the next one. Okay, that makes sense. So November 5th is election day.
Yes, it is.
And you have to be registered to vote 30 days prior. So I guess that's why October 7th is the deadline. So if you're not registered to vote, please register. By the time that you hear this, it'll be too late. So hopefully go check.
Still good to register.
Yeah, go check your voter registration on voterview.org and just make sure that your registration hasn't been thrown away.
Go
and
Kanye.
Follow up on that. That's Mick said that. By the way. That wasn't me. I just want to clarify that.
I guess we do have better options now.
But I'm excited about today's episode. Joining us today, we have someone who identifies as a vibe setter, joy spreader, dance educator, choreographer, mom, and Springdale High School alumni, Cece Marie. Thank you for joining us today, Cece.
Welcome
How
to
are
the podcast.
Yes.
Thank you,
Welcome,
guys.
Cece.
I'm so excited.
And you're the second Cece that has been on the podcast before, because Elena's daughter Cece has actually made her debut already a few months back.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're glad you're here. We want to talk about dance. We want to talk about how you got involved with the studio that now you run in downtown Springdale, in a really cool spot too. So I'm excited to get into that. But I guess one of the first things I kind of want to ask you is, how did you get involved with dancing? Like, how did you get inspired to follow that?
Well, there's two things that really made dance like a huge part of my life. One is that I grew up in I'm clearly a white girl, but grew up in a very culturally diverse family. So my mom's side is Lebanese, and then my family, so my brother, who actually has a podcast, which is funny.
Okay.
In Fayetteville.
You want to give it a shout out?
Shout it out.
Shout out. So my brother's Noah. His podcast is the Riding Around Show. Where
Oh
he
my
interviews
goodness,
Razorback
that's awesome!
athletes.
Yeah,
You know him?
I know the Riding Around show. Yeah, so he started school right after me.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Really
so
cool.
that's my little brother. So he's mixed, and his family really took me, my father was incarcerated most of my life, so his family took me under their wing. And they, Black culture is so beautiful. It's so steeped in music and dance and socially being with each other. And so I grew up, that is where my first dance studio was in backyards, bedrooms, living rooms with my cousins, who were my adopted cousins. And then, of course, my Lebanese side of the family, they like culture too. They're just kind of naturally like that. So that was really what made me fall in love with dance. And then my mom put me in an art school, and literally from 9 to, I only spent a few years in public school, which we went to the same school together.
Yeah. Did you graduate that year? You graduated that
I
year?
didn't actually,
Okay.
no.
I never assumed, because I don't know if sometimes people move schools or they do something else.
Yeah.
But we were in school, in Springdale High School, in the same time, in the same grade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you did the Bulldog News, and I was on the Palm Squad. Yeah, so it's so funny. Yeah.
Memories over there.
That's wild. It's been that's 14 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
I hate that.
That's kind of crazy that this episode is featuring both kinda what you guys kind of did in high school. But like you,
we never gave up on it.
Yeah, at the recorder, kind of style for Irvin, and you with that dance stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
Also, just a random side note: Irvin is getting featured in Homecoming, Springdale. Tomorrow, which this will be like 3 weeks later or however long.
So like a month ago, he was featured.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. By the time this episode comes out.
What are you being featured for?
I'm going to be in the homecoming parade. I get to ride on a cool, like, old school car.
Do you get to pick it?
Do I get a what?
Pick the car?
No, I don't think so. But I trust Rosie Castillo, a past guest of the podcast, is part of the PTO.
Oh, yeah.
And I think she nominated me or someone else nominated me. I don't know. And as for the distinguished alumni.
Do you need a driver?
I should hit you up.
I've been doing donuts on the 50, homie.
You know what? Let me ask. Unless they're like forced to like have the owner of the car drive it. But I'll ask. I'll ask today. See if we can make that happen.
So cool.
But so what happened during that time? Whenever, because you said you didn't graduate. Did life just kind of?
Yes. So I call myself an art school kid, even though I did spend some years in the public school, which public schools wrecked me, y'all. That was rough. That was rough. I was this innocent, like. I mean, I like in the art school, like you just see yourself as an artist, and that's like all you do, and like all your colleagues, like it's a very like we see each other as professionals, and we treated each other like these artists. And I went to public school, and it did not matter that I was an artist anymore. I felt a little bit invisible, and then the things that I was in the hip hop club, I was like a dancer, and I just felt like I'd made some dumb decisions those years.
Have you watched Euphoria?
Did you go to private school or like homeschool?
No, I haven't watched Euphoria. No, I wasn't. It's a public charter school. It just has a different vibe when like you guys are all there to make art. Like one's like, I don't even know if we like said cuss words. Like I'm serious. Like, and then I came to public school and I'm like, whoa.
People fighting at 7 in the morning.
Yes.
Well, see, because when I started hanging out with like the private school girls, like that's what they were like way more advanced than us public boys. Yeah, they were doing like better drugs and no.
Better drugs. If I could afford it. No, we couldn't afford our schooling.
Yeah,
but
still charter. Yeah.
So that you moved to that private school when?
Well, it's a public school, but it's
private charter school. Public
charter
school.
is
It just
public
means
school.
Charter school just means they basically can kind of do what they want. So like they want it. Like I would dance like 3 hours a day. Like that was part of my school. You know. Yeah, and the academics were kind of a joke. So like I made really good grades, and I just danced all day. And yeah.
Was that senior year when you went over there?
Yeah. So I was there 4th through 8th. Then there was no high school yet, so I went into public schools. Which those are hard years. So like all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm 15 and I'm in a public school. Okay. And then went back in 11th grade.
Okay. I was trying to remember when I saw you in high school.
I'm glad I made an impact.
I think it was.
Just kidding.
I don't remember things that happened in my own life back then. Like I don't have many memories from high school. Like everything's a blur for me. Yeah. Even though I was like really involved with like Bulldog News and stuff like that. If you ask me to think about like 2 or 3 different days where something happened, I can hardly remember anything.
You probably weren't making monumentally dumb decisions like I was, because I remember mine.
You're being too hard on yourself.
No, I think a lot of high school kids do.
Yeah.
I mean.
Like I remember one time, one of the things that I do remember from high school, which, I mean, there's a lot of cool things. I don't want to downplay my high school years, but we were filming like movies in our Bulldog News class, in our video class. And for some reason, I wanted to make a movie about gangsters, right? So I recruited some
cool movies, man.
So I recruited some kids from like that were my friends, or some like actual gangsters from the school.
Yes,
that I
knew
was
real there.
That I knew were gangsters.
It was real.
And we started filming, and then we got like the principal started worrying that we were up to something, because we were kind of like all brown kids, like 5 or 6 brown kids, like in a corner of a building, like just talking and stuff. And we were like, dude, we're just filming a movie. And we had to explain to them. But it was just one of my first moments where I was like, damn, like when you have a lot of people of color together, like the way society views us, like if it was 5 or 6 white kids, it probably wouldn't have been a big deal. Yeah. But because of like,
oh, they're just skateboarding.
You got known gangsters though. They were throwing up the gang.
We did have a lot of gang affiliation at Springdale High. I remember watching somebody get tased like in the courtyard by cop.
Oh, really?
At Springdale High, and I just remember that they always talked a lot about like the gangs that were, and like every dude was like, I'm a gangster, man. I was gonna
say I have a very similar story to Irvin's.
Explain.
I filmed something at, it used to be at Azteca, like taqueria, right here in Springdale, or not right here, but over in Springdale.
On the corner?
Yeah, but now it's like a AT&T. Anyway, I had a short film to do. And same thing. It was somebody robbing that place. That's pretty much what I did. So I got my homie Payaso, shout out Payaso, and then but he is from LA. Yeah. Well, I guess
I feel like that's a little bit more risky. Man.
Yeah, he's been here. And,
I went to school.
This guy's tatted to like from like the ears all the way down. You know, he's tatted. He's a big fool. You know,
what's his name again?
Well, Payaso.
Payaso.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what we call him. He's a tattoo artist. But anyway, we had him like, you know, pull out a gun and try to take the money from the cash register.
That will do
anyway, we had a police officer.
Like,
we had 2 police officers come like into the restaurant, guns drawn. Like they opened the doors with their guns out and the little like flashlight underneath it, like holding it all tactical. Yeah. And then he came in. And pretty much stepped to production. It's like, oh, we got some calls from like the cars that were driving by that something was happening in here. It's like I saw the camera, so I knew that like it might be okay, but you know, I guess they got to follow protocol or whatever.
Oh man,
yeah.
That definitely sounds more intense.
Yeah.
With us, we just explained to the principal, and he was like, "Y'all good." I was just providing these people like their first acting experience. Like they did a good job. Like these people, a lot of these people, they were never done any kind of art project before, and some of them were involved with some gangs and stuff, but they weren't doing anything in school, and they acted, and we filmed it and we showed it to people, and it was our first production ever.
And then the police officers actually let me like use their police car to show him like getting arrested.
At that point, you got to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Then you became like friends.
Yeah, everybody was like, whoa.
So Cece, you, like what you went through in school has really pushed what you are doing today.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think my whole upbringing. And I became a mom as a teenager, and I think like right after high school I was pregnant, and I think that really, just my upbringing like with a single parent, and then just really steeped in like different cultures, and then also becoming a young mom and attending schools where like I was the minority, like at Springdale High School, and I got to be around culture so much and just like respect it, So I think all of that really shaped like who I was, and just the hardship of being a single mom like at 19. And then my degrees were such a like outpour of what I had grown up doing or being.
Did you go to college after? So you had your baby 19, 18?
I had my baby at 19. Yeah. And I went to college for 6 years. So it did slow me down a little. I did get 3 degrees because there is a lot of support for non-traditional students. So as a mom, I got tons of scholarships, And so I went to college. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah.
Did you end up like whenever because you said you were in the Palm Squad in Springdale High School, what was that experience like for you? Like being part of a I guess kind of dance related thing compared to what you were already doing before, or even what you did after?
I actually hated it. I actually kind of protested and quit randomly, like a few months into the year, and still came to the game that night, got in trouble, had to sit on the bleachers. But it was like my statement of like, I don't like what y'all are doing. This isn't real art. And also it had like, to me, it was missing the culture that I'd been around. It's like, we're doing hip hop, we're doing jazz, but we're not like, I don't know, we don't really know the culture. We're not talking about that. We're not really studying that. Like, to me, that was so important because of where I'd come from. And the art school was about art, dance, concert dance, like not just Palm Squad stuff. We didn't do Palm Squad stuff.
Were there any people within the Palm Squad that you could have those kind of conversations with about the culture and about the way that you saw things?
Yeah, I think I had my really close friend. Her name was Selena. I don't know if you remember Selena. Shout out to Selena. She and I were really close, and like she definitely felt kind of the same way too. And it wasn't like they did anything wrong. The whole team was great. It's just sorry, Palm Squads, but it's kind of what they're built on is just me as an artist, me as like with my background. I didn't come from a dance studio. I just didn't like that it was very removed from the culture and just the impact you can make with art. you know, to me, it's like,
I feel like most schools do that. I mean, now there's schools that specialize in certain things, but I mean, me as a musician, like I remember they were never teaching us the stuff that I wanted to learn. You know, it was kind of jazz or whatever, which was cool because they got to take me to Hawaii and we performed there and stuff. But I mean, but as far as like what I wanted to do or what, you know, like it wasn't there. Or I mean, they just don't teach you right. Like I didn't know that you can be like a session musician until like years after high school, and I had all musician kind of friends and stuff, and they, you know, kind of bounced into it too. But nobody said, hey, you can make a drummer, just keep it in the box, playing drums for like random bands and random tours and do that kind of stuff. I thought you had to be like the artist, you know. Anyway,
that makes sense.
Music programs could do a lot, but at least everybody had an instrument.
And
you know,
you said you're gonna be teaching like right after this podcast, right, at a school nearby. So like you're still like, you know, involved in that. What ages do you typically teach?
So I teach K-12 and then adults. So I'm teaching every age right now. I'm actually a teaching artist for the Walton Arts Center. So we teach in schools. I don't know. I'm sure you guys know like who Bang is, Antonio Williams. And then another choreographer named Josh. Basically, Walton Arts Center brought us in to launch Hip Hop 101, which is so cool because we literally teach hip hop from like the historical standpoint. We're teaching them the elements, all the elements like DJing, rapping, dance. We're developing a music video with the Alps team. Like we're really we are teaching them real hip hop, you know. And so to get to go in schools now, and that's K-12, and I do that 3 days a week. And I get to go in schools and like kind of rewrite what I wish I would have had, you know. And I teach for studios and I run the Vibe, and then I set pieces for companies. So I'm always kind of everywhere.
And I kind of wanted to ask you about those 4 things, 5 things that I mentioned at the beginning. I kind of want to name each one of them, and you tell me what it means to you. Vibe setter.
To me, that really came from a place of, and my brother says this, like be the thermostat, not the thermometer in the room, where you change the energy, you know, and you bring your best self. And I owe all of that to hardship in what I saw and what I went through as a young person. And I believe that that's given me a resilience to where like I can change the vibe. Like put me in any room, like
there she
I'm
is.
gonna change the vibe.
I'll play it.
She came in here and she was like ready for the camera. Like that light hit her and we were like, she said, do I look sleep deprived? I was like, girl, I look sleep deprived.
What about joy spreader?
Joy spreader. I feel like I know real joy, you know, and I think I believe that joy comes from like Jesus. That's like my personal like belief. And so I feel like I've really experienced the joy of Jesus in moments that like you shouldn't have joy, you know. I'm a single mom still. I have 4 kids, and the ups and downs of life that happen, if I didn't have resilience, if I didn't have a true deep joy, like those would kill me, you know. But instead I've learned to stay, and honestly, the joy comes from God. It's not me. Like it's, you know, I've learned to just stay like consistent.
And that's really beautiful because people get happiness and joy mixed up sometimes, where it's like happiness is kind of temporary, you know, where like joy, it's like you go through those things, but it's that thing that stays there. It's like you said, like, you know, Jesus and
it's a joy that's rooted in hope, you know. And I feel like a lot of people's hope can easily be shaken, but if your hope comes from a source that you really believe in, like, then your joy can't be shaken, you know.
What about dance educator?
Dance educator. So I would say I'm more of a dance educator than anything right now, because I spent 5 years directing a dance program at Arkansas Arts Academy, and doing that 40, 50 hours a week, developing the curriculum, everything it takes to run a program of 300 kids. Like, it just really developed a skill of educating that I lean on a lot. Like, I trust myself in that realm. So, and I feel comfortable teaching any age, any level, because when you're teaching hundreds of kids every week, you have to be able to like level with every single one of them, you know?
And choreographer.
Choreographer. So, I'm a choreographer. I'll kind of tell you like my main mission right now as a choreographer is really to amplify the voices of mothers, specifically single mothers. But that being said, I also do a lot of quinceañeras. I do weddings. I do. I'm actually doing a show with Center for Sexual Assault, and I saw that you guys had them on in next month at Crystal Bridges. Like my piece is being performed there.
Wow.
It's about grief. And so like I'm always kind of either developing work that is really connected to my mission, my message that I want to share, or people are like, hey, Cece, come choreograph this wedding. Okay, cool. Like I can do that.
Want to add one? Podcaster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So motherhood has really shaped me. And I feel about a year ago when I had my fourth child, I went through a really hard season, and I was like, I need to talk about this. Like motherhood is so like underrated. Like it's so hard. And like a lot of times there's no conversation around it. There's not enough like talk about the hardships of it, the reality of it. And so I was like, I want to start a podcast called The Mommy Grind, which has not launched yet, but I've had about 6 episodes finished, and it's
You did what we should have done. What I should have done when I began is have a few episodes. I didn't do that.
Oh, then you're like trying to keep up.
Yeah. You're supposed to have like 6 or 7 when you launch.
Oh, I guess I have to launch it.
You have enough.
I think I'm actually kind of scared, guys. I think I'm kind of like, okay, so launch this, but then what? Like I've never done this before, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we're here to help in case you have any questions.
I might need some help.
We're becoming OGs now. In
For
this.
real.
Did you have a logo and everything for it?
I have a logo, and I actually launched a class this month called The Mommy Grind because I wanted it to be like an apparel line, a class, and then a podcast. So for moms to really feel like hugged from every side. I don't know. And so the class is going, and it's a hip hop dance workout for moms, and they can bring their kids in a stroller or wear them. Oh, yeah. So there's a logo because I had to launch that.
Yeah. So you're set. You just were looking for a launch.
You gotta press publish.
Yeah. I need somebody else to press publish.
You should start like teasing it on your social media accounts. Well, I don't know. Anyway,
we'll share.
Teasers are good because then people look forward to actually.
You're right. And I interviewed some pretty amazing women in this area. And actually on that podcast, we say only mom. We don't say single mom. So I need to like work on saying that. Or only parent, not only mom. Only parent instead of single mom. But yeah.
Well, for those that don't know, I mean, every last Thursday of the month here at the Fayetteville Public Library, they have a podcaster meetup.
Oh my
where
gosh.
you can come meet other people that are doing podcasts or other forms of entertainment on like YouTube.
Edwin's been the best one at showing up, but it always lands on my out of us. But yeah. I'm gonna try this next time. I think it lands on a good Thursday for me.
Wow, last Thursday. What time?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, that's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
I teach 11 to 9.
I can't make it because I'm gonna be over there, but
I'm gonna make it this time.
What, tomorrow?
Yes, I'm gonna make it.
Okie
this
dokie.
time
But
tomorrow.
you can. There's a good amount of people that have been doing it for a few years, and you can ask for any questions, and it's like super non-judgmental.
Wow.
I was there last month, and some people came in that were just about to start their podcast, that were thinking about starting, and they were asking the most basic questions, and people were just responding to them and not judging.
Yeah. You were judging because you called them basic.
No, I'm just
Basic.
They were a little basic. Basic's not a bad thing.
Cece, I kind of wanted to touch back on some stuff that you've been doing, and I've been seeing this on my TikTok or on my Instagram, which is like how trauma can be released through the hips and like through the body. And have you had any experience with that and some of the work that you're gonna do next month?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I have a piece right now. It's called Elroy, which means the God who sees me. And just in general, dance was always my like safe space that kept me whole feeling, But this piece particularly that came out is about deadbeat dads. And it's like poetry that I wrote spoken over, and then dancers. And so it's like 2 pieces of poetry and dance set to it. And it's on its 4th performance. And the last time it was performed at the Momentary last month, someone came up to me and they were like, they had like tears in their eyes, and they were like, your piece really like did a lot for me, like really hit me hard, and I just want to hear from you what it did for you. And I immediately like wanted to cry because I was like, for the first moment I was like, whoa, I'm on the other side of healing because of that piece. Like that, creating that, setting that on people in community, talking about my story and their stories while I'm setting this piece on them was so healing that now I don't even feel the way I did when I made it. Yeah. So yeah,
that's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's got to be kind of like it should remind you, right, that the work that you're doing is important. And that's such a beautiful thing when you're able to see a immediate reaction right away to your art, to your work. Is there any other forms of examples that you've seen that
like
in
in
other situations, like feedback wise from people
in
that
work
have been impacted by some of the work that you do?
Yeah, I think, that's a really good question. I think that, I've gotten to do a lot of music videos with local artists around here, like set choreography for them. And the other work that was so impactful, I would say, was this music video. Emily Nance, shout out Emily Nance. She is a bomb artist. You know her?
Yeah.
Bomb.
Yeah.
So I choreographed her music video called Stay Go, like 6 years ago now. And with We Breed Love Productions, they shot it. And that music video won best in... It won an Atlanta music or film festival. And
congrats.
It was a music and cinema, something like that. And just that work is just so like to come out of Northwest Arkansas, especially at that time, was just like, whoa, what is this? And that was really impactful. Like I was always like, watch this music video, y'all, watch this music.
What would you say is your favorite accomplishment?
Hold up. Can you put your mic? I can hear you breathing on it because you're breathing right on it. So yeah. Anyway.
Right there.
Anyway, just so it's not under your nose and close to your mouth.
I do breathe a little bit heavier on my nose for some reason.
Well, I mean, it's just like I tell you, the microphone's facing right here, and you have it right underneath your nostrils. So.
Yeah, I kept on.
I thought you were saying. I thought he was gonna say, I do breathe. I
was like, what question was I about to ask? Okay, I got it. We're ready.
Whenever you are.
Okay. What would you say is your most favorite accomplishment so far in the work that you've been doing in the community?
Oh, you got good questions, bro.
Trying.
That's the Springdale Bulldog journalism right there.
For real, that's pretty useful. Okay, will you ask that one more time?
What would you say is your favorite accomplishment of your work? Like it doesn't have to be the biggest one, but most favorite to you.
I would say the work I did with Walton Arts Center, well, Elroy, which is the piece that's kind of done some shows lately, but second to that would be so the curriculum I developed while I worked at Arkansas Arts Academy became the foundation for a project I did with the Walton Arts Center a couple years ago. Basically, we used my curriculum to develop a show that reframes American history through the lens of African American social dance. So it's a whole dance performance that's also teaching you history through the lens of minorities, like what that experience truly was like. Because a lot of times they don't get the credit for how deeply they've impacted dance and our culture, And so getting to be a part of that, and then it got a grant and went to the Kennedy Center in February, and we flew out there and we got to perform it. And that show's about to tour in a couple months. That would probably be like the epitome of like, whoa, as an educator, I still made an impact like on a stage and like in a big space. Kennedy Center, Washington, D.C., like the best artists go there, like, so that was, I'm still like, whoa, thank you. Thank you for that opportunity. Because Walton Arts Center really did give me that opportunity too.
I have a controversial question.
Yeah.
Dancing is not a sport.
Oh.
True or false?
So false, man. It is such a sport. Such a sport. It takes every single muscle in your body.
Did you see that breakdance on the Olympics?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Australia ruined it for everyone, didn't they?
And I think somebody said this, or a mentor of mine said this, and I was like, wow. She was like, the people that should have gotten the credit now were like invisible in that situation. Because there's a lot of amazing like logistics, like amazing breakers who should have got some shine time. Yeah.
I like Elena came in hard with that question. I was like, oh man, here we go.
She was ready to fight.
Don't worry. She's like, let me ask while we have this distance between us.
Can't do anything here.
We're sleep deprived. This is cool. High five, girl.
So, what are some things that you're still interested in doing dance wise in the community? Any ideas that you've had that you're like, maybe in a few years I can do this, or I want to do this?
Yeah, so like I would say the Vibe is one thing that it's like a passion project right now that I do wish I have a vision for it. The Vibe is like an adult dance training opportunity that I run every week, and I would love for that to grow and like for local artists to start booking dancers, and like our dancers are paid to perform. Specifically in like music videos and shows, you know, kind of building that industry out. Because we have amazing dancers here. We do. They just don't have like an outlet to be seen or to be like paid for their work. So they quit, you know, or to train, you know. So that I believe in that. I think it's going to grow. The other thing is I really want to get a master's and evolve as an artist myself. I feel like I'm kind of behind where I should be because I was educating way more than.
Like a master's from a school?
Huh?
Like a master's from an actual like.
Yeah, like go back to college and get a master's.
Do you have like a certain school that you want to go to, a certain university? Are you like, oh man, I want to do, you know? Because if I went to, I want to graduate from film at a USC. Do you have anything like that?
You know what? I would love to go to UT Austin. They have an amazing master's dance program, and it's very like socially about being an artist, being an activist artist, being socially engaged, and I'm like that's what I want to do. Yeah. And
so are you doing this full time? Like and it's paying you and everything?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. So I was working for the school up till a year ago. So I've only been working full time as like a freelance artist for a year, and it's been rough. Like I spent like 9 months probably of it. Also just had a baby, but also trying to pave a way to make enough income. Now I'm at a much better place. So it can be done.
No,
you know?
well, because you were talking about trying to find like these grants to pay these artists and dancers and stuff like that. But I'm guessing I feel like in any field, like that's the hard part, doing something that you like and it's kind of artistic and a way to express yourself and getting like paid for it. Like I feel like if you're working full time and doing your stuff, it's almost like you're one in a few. You know? Yeah.
And I will say this: if you want to be an artist that makes it on your like full time, you need to be an entrepreneur first. You need to be able to look at the industry you're in, like where are the gaps and how can my skills like be the one and only, or maybe be the leader of a certain things.
Niche,
because
like
I don't feel super strong as a contemporary artist as I do more as like other things. So I wouldn't try to go be a contemporary choreographer because there's plenty of those that are bomb right now in this area. So hip hop's kind of, you know, been the gap that I needed to be a part of or felt called to.
What do you? This is gonna be off topic, but on topic at the same time. What do you think about the Step Up movies?
The first one was awesome. With Channing Tatum.
Step Up 3 is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
Yeah. And people don't get it when I bring it up to them. They're like, "Yo, that movie sucked," and I'm like, "No," but the way that I saw it. Well, I guess it's different than how other people saw it. I saw it as in like just a bunch of people that were very passionate about something and they were fighting for what they were passionate about.
Oh, that's when they do like they're basically being activists, right?
When they go to New York and like their like place where they practice is about to be like they're about to get evicted and they have to we have to win this like big tournament so that they can pay the rent.
Yes.
And I know it's kind of cheesy when I'm
that's exactly the money we need.
That's my mom's favorite actually. She just sent me clips from it like last month and I was like, "Mom, I don't watch any of the Step Ups but the first." But when she showed me, I was like, they're like being full on activists out here as dancers. That was cool.
And it's the first time I ever heard the Club Can't Handle Me by Flo Rida, which is like one of my favorite songs of all time.
That should be the intro music for this.
Let me tell you, like I like the first, the second. I'm a big Moose fan. Do you know who Moose is?
Yes.
He's one of the characters. Well, Adam Savani, I believe.
Yes.
He's a huge. I'm culture, Cece.
You are
culture. I have not watched any of the Bring It On or any of those because I grew up with all brothers. And
did you watch You Got Served by chance?
What about Save the
I
Last Dance?
also was very poor growing up, so we did not like have TV or like watch stuff unless
Save the Last Dance came on free
unless
cable
unless we
sometimes,
got
you
it
know?
from the bootlegger.
Hey, Blockbuster, girl. Blockbuster was
$2
was cheap.
Yes, but then we moved out here and there wasn't any Blockbuster
No, it's
near
Take
to
Two
us.
Video.
Oh, yeah, I
And
forget.
honestly,
I'm
my
old.
parents
I
would
forgot
not
about that.
risk not returning anything back. So
Oh
And-
my goodness.
yeah.
Just because I know
That's where I
we're
got Save the Last Dance,
Yeah.
Blockbuster.
just because I know we're a little bit low on time. Kind of want to ask you just about the place where you're holding your dance.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? Your dance instruction, your dance studio.
Yeah.
You got it in downtown Springdale, which is a really cool. Like you're right next to Taco Loco.
I know.
And then go eat some tacos and then go dance them off afterwards, right?
Yes. Ooh, we should put that in our little
That's-
caption. Yes.
Or vice versa.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, maybe dance first so you don't throw up.
And then get drinks afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, so the vibe is actually at Monos Event Space, which is in downtown Springdale. Shout out to Caitlin. She runs Monos Event Space. She kind of took a leap of faith, letting us be in the space every week. She's literally giving up a whole day to us, and that space is booked every day.
Yeah.
We only get it one day of the week, and so we do all of our classes on that one night. We do privates during the morning, rehearsals there. But yeah, it's in downtown Springdale on Emma Street, right next to Taco Loco, on Mondays only though. And yeah, but we go to Blake Street periodically and perform or teach there. And then we're about to do an event with Crystal Bridges in December.
Okay.
And then we're in talks with Diva Dance about an event because we kind of like are reaching opposite sides of the dance community. So we're like, why don't we bring them together? You know, they're really reaching like a great gateway into dance. And then we're like, we'll take you and help you like grow to go book jobs or like to really hone your craft, you know?
So if someone wants to come get dance lessons, what's step one? Do they reach out to you somewhere or do they just show up?
Yeah, I would definitely say, I mean, you can show up. You could show up any Monday. We start at 5:30. We finish at 9. And then we have the Mommy Grind in the morning, which is a class for moms to bring their babies or 2-year-olds or any age kid and come to get a workout in. And that starts in October, the morning class. But you can show up. But I would say follow us on social media. We're The Vibe Adult Dance. We're only on Instagram. And I also have a website with The Vibe. The Vibe has its own page. But my website is ccmariedance.com. So either of those are good. You can reach out. You can show up. Yeah.
Okie dokie. And just the last question, because we like to ask our guest this question to hear their feedback and just so people can learn. What do you do to take care of your mental health?
Wow. I will say that is tough to actually take time for that right now because I have 4 kids, every age of kid. But dance really is grounding for me. And the fact that I get to do that every single day, like when I'm teaching, I feel like no worries. When I'm dancing, I don't feel any worries. So I think that naturally keeps me kind of healthy. Not to say I don't struggle with like mental health issues, especially when I'm sleep deprived, but yeah, dance really is healing. And then church, I try to be as involved in church as much as I can. Those 2 things.
Well, thank you for sharing that. We appreciate
thank you
it.
guys.
And normally we ask people for their social medias, but you just shared them. Once again, you said, is it Cece Marie Choreography on Instagram?
Yeah, so on Instagram, Cece Marie Choreography, and on Facebook. And then I have our company that was built with the Walton Arts Center called Root and Movement Collective. They have their own Root and Movement Collective Instagram. And then The Vibe Adult Dance has their own.
Yeah.
And maybe in the next few weeks, we can stop by and maybe film some
Yeah.
content dancing.
Please.
We'll get some content on Mix dancing. Me too, I'm
Please.
down. Elena, if you're down too.
Hey,
Stop by.
we're doing Tate McRae on Monday, and she's like blowing up, y'all. So, or maybe she already
my
did. And I
friends
just
listen to Tate McRae, but I've only heard one song.
Hey, we'll try to stop
what
by.
song is it?
The most recent one that
It's okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
That's the one.
Well, we need to figure out a date and time. It'd be
Yeah.
cool just so we can get some like content for our socials.
And I'm actually really
tag.
curious about that whole Walton Arts Center and
I'm gonna
dance
show up
videos
next month
being produced.
for that NWA.
Yeah.
The one at Crystal Bridges. I think I'm gonna get tickets and stuff. That's because they're also gonna honor Nate, and then I think they're gonna have some art, and then you're gonna be there, right?
Yeah, my
October
piece will be
7th.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same event. That Crystal Bridges one?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
I didn't
December
know that.
7th is the Vibes event with Crystal Bridges in the same space.
Okie dokie.
December 7th?
Yes.
I'll be at that one.
Yes.
And we'll spread the flyer when we
Thank
see
you guys.
everything. But thank you for being here, Cece.
Yes,
we
thank
appreciate this
you.
conversation.
Y'all are awesome.
Maybe we can have another one in like a few months and just figure out where you're at there and what you're
Yeah.
working on.
Yeah.
But for everybody listening, that was the end of episode 269 of the District 3 podcast. My name is Edie,
This is Elena.
And Migs.
signing off.